Rise of the Ronin is set to be one of the biggest games of the year, but will it actually be? This game is heavily compared to Ghost of Tsushima, and I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw it revealed, I thought it was gonna be Ghost of Tsushima 2. This game is set in the late 19th century Japan in the final years of the Edo period, when Japan had opened itself up and was undergoing changes brought by the Western influences. Rise of the Ronin is Team Ninja's first fully open world experience, where you could freely explore and pretty much do what you want. The map will include 3 major cities: Kyoto, Yokohama, and Edo, which is in modern day Tokyo. During the PlayStation State of Play, we got a good look at Yokohama, where the architecture shows the blending of Japanese culture and Western influences. Players will play as a lone Ronin who finds himself in the middle of a conflict, a nationwide conflict. And Japan is going through a huge change in the 1800s. And this will be the main plot of Rise of the Ronin, specifically the Bushin War, a civil war that took place in the 1860s. Showing the conflict between Tokugawa shogunate and a number of rebel factions who take issue with the growing Western influences on Japan, which is very similar to Ghost of Tsushima, kind of like a war vibe, and that game is set during the first Mongol invasion in Japan in 1274.
A fleeting moment can feel like a lifetime for those caught in its deadly rhythm. And a lifetime can pass in the blink of an eye for anyone embracing its bitter end.
The developer revealed that the Ronin is a veiled edge, which is a work for hire warrior of sorts, and will have a fully defined backstory and personality. The 19th century late Edo Japan world is going to be populated by 3 factions that the player will have run-ins with throughout the story. For starters, there's going to be a Sabaku faction, which is loyal to the shogunate and fighting in favor of maintaining its centralized rule over Japan. On the other side of the conflict is Tohoku faction, who is headed by 2 people who wish to see the shogunate taken down. Finally, Western groups referred to as the Obe serves as a 3rd faction, and their goal is to open up Japan to foreign trade with Western powers. The game developer did confirm that this game will have a traditional XP system, but you won't lose your XP when you die. On top of that, however, there is also going to be another progression system called Karma, which will be lost upon death. They're also going to add choice and conflict mechanics. Player choice will come into play in the form of dialogue choices during conversations with other characters, while players will also be able to decide whether or not to kill certain assassination targets during some of the quests. Traversal mechanics are going to be its defining feature. Players will be able to ride across the open world on horseback, while you'll also have access to grappling hooks, where you'll quickly be able to pull yourself off to rooftops and clamber across them. But the star of the show is the Avicula, a device that lets you pop out mechanical wings and soar through the air. Rise of the Ronin is going to have some stealth elements sprinkled in, which we do get to see in some of the trailers. Bond missions will also play a role in this experience, and will be another area where the game's choice and consequence mechanics will be in play. And different characters will have different bond missions. The stronger your bond with that character will grow, which in addition to revealing more about them and their backstory. Will also yield gameplay rewards, like new inventions for you. But many of the decisions you'll be making really won't impact the game's main story. It has, however, been confirmed that the game's story does consist of multiple endings. In fact, completing certain bond missions might unlock different endings.
Let us not forget the pain of Master Shoin and the countless others who have suffered.
Key combat mechanics will be analyzing your opponent's strength and weaknesses, and you get to pick different combat stances. Again, very similar to Ghost of Tsushima. Meanwhile, you'll also be blocking and timing your parries, which will be a crucial element in the game's combat. And I really like this combat mechanic system. Sometimes combat can get very boring and repetitive, and with this you always have to be on your toes, which stand works the best. This also means that there's going to be a lot of enemy variety. Because of the different stances, you can at least imagine that there's going to be at least like 4 of them, which could say a lot for some games. There's going to be a mix of traditional Japanese weapons and late 19th century Western technology. Swords and katanas, pistols and firearms, bayonets and spears, and more. You'll be able to use a grappling hook to pull in enemies, kind of like a scorpion thing for Mortal Kombat.
Get over here!
You can also pull yourself towards the enemies. There'll be another thing called the fire pipe, which is essentially an old flamethrower. It's described as a strong, long-ranged weapon that you can use to set your enemies ablaze, ignite flammable barrels, and more. Rise of the Ronin is set to release on PlayStation 5 on March 22nd, 2024. What do you guys think about this game? Like I said, it is very heavily compared to Ghost of Tsushima, and if it is anything like Ghost of Tsushima, then I will love this game because I love Ghost of Tsushima, and a lot of other people did as well. If this game does somehow do better than that one, I'll be really surprised because Ghost of Tsushima is way up here. What do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Pause for now, play forever. AK out.